Good morrow, League of Lit fam. Here we are at the end of our re-review of Jules and Monty for its 10th anniversary. As always, welcome to League of Lit, where we discuss books, adaptations, and anything else we wish to talk about and tie it back to lit, because we can.
It is also a truth universally acknowledged that we are not a spoiler-free podcast, so I'm absolutely going to ruin the end of this beautiful series for you. So watch at your own risk.
Today is the end. This is the final episode. And it's a bit of a long one, so let's just dive into all of this. So here we go.
So this episode opens with Jules finishing packing, and we meet Jules' dad, which is really cool. Mr. Kane, the actual Lord Kane. And Lord Kane, Mr. Kane, is played by Lee Coffin, who I believe was Dean of Undergrad Admissions. And a really cool little cameo that they got to have somebody from their actual school come in and be in this little beautiful project of theirs.
I love how at the top of this, like, yes, we get a glimpse as to who Juliet's father is, and he, asks her about continuing. Why, like, are you sure you want to continue vlogging and putting your life out there? And Juliet just says, this is it. This is the final one. But I love what follows in them having kind of that like call back to the beginning with the first video that was Jules and Nancy, and they have the instruct me on your ways, oh wise one. And it's cute, it's adorable. You can see that they are definitely still processing this change that is happening with Jules moving back. She does say that she's moving back to the West Coast, which then, as far as geography goes and all of this, which we haven't really known kind of how all that shakes out, but the way that it all apparently is uh, the University of Verona is on the East Coast, and Juliet's going back to the West Coast. I'm sure part of that was simply because Tufts University is in Massachusetts, in the sense of fictional worlds, because this is a fictional university. I wonder where she's going.
It's crazy seeing Jules and Nancy sit next to each other in episode 18 versus in episode 2 when we meet them for the first time. I know in reality, Evie and Imogen are not like about to leave each other forever and never see each other again. But they're so flawlessly these characters, and they've played these parts so well that I believed it. I was in it. I was very much there watching this very beautiful friendship not end, but be separated, and that makes me really sad. Because I think Jules and Nancy deserve to be next to each other for the rest of their lives.
So Jules gives us an update of how she's told her parents what has happened, and you know, kind of walking through how the aftermath is now that everyone seems to know, and how Cliff's life has in a way been like rendered to shambles simply because of the choices that he has made. And it seems like Jules feels a little bit better about the decisions she has made to make, like, for her own life and being able to move forward. And she does hope that, maybe her speaking up in turn helps somebody else down the line. Because she spoke up and because of the footage that was posted, Cliff has been dethroned. He is no longer the Lord of Kappa. And he's also single again because his girlfriend publicly dumped him. And because of that, it's pushed the two fraternities to find some peace, which is very much the way that the source material goes, in the sense of, because of the deaths of Romeo and Juliet, that is what then, because both families are hurting because of the loss that they have, it has created a motivation to find peace. Jules shares some super secret footage from Pierre that there was, this whole meeting between the two fraternities, because apparently Mark and Ty have been working together to bridge the gap that has existed for so long between the two. And it's a great opportunity to kind of see some other sides to these two characters that seem to only exist in the heightened emotion state. And so it was, it's a cool little thing.
We learned that the Kappa and Mu Tau Gamma houses have had a meeting where they've decided to lay all their nonsense to rest and just be fraternity college boys and just party and have a good time. Because these parties would be much better if they were all involved. Don't you think? It's just fun. I love that Pierre is like the instigator of peace. I really love that for Paris because in the source material it doesn't end well for Paris, so it's nice that it ends well for Pierre.
I love how right here at the end we get this kind of closure for these two side characters in the source material of Paris and Rosalind, who in Jules and Monty are Pierre and Rose. Juliet, like says it really well of it's really adorable in a horrifying way. It's disgustingly cute because they are apparently like massively obsessed with each other. So they seem to be a perfect match. Uh, and why wouldn't you go about it that way? Right? Um, but I think when Jules sets up what little bit we get to see of Rose and Pierre being disgustingly vomit inducing adorable, she catches herself from saying, like, she starts to say Monty because Monty did used to date Rose. But she catches herself and switches it to he. And so you can see that there is still some processing there that's happening, but we're not quite getting there yet because she takes no time at all to fill us in on Ty and how he has recovered and how he and Nancy are together. It is official. It has been made official.
Pierre also finds love in Rose. Another beautiful moment for two characters in this source material. Rosalind and Paris love each other forever. Absolutely 10,000% perfection. What a great ending for these two characters. I also really appreciate Ty and Nancy being brought back in at the end because they're now officially dating, which is very exciting for both of them. It's really nice to see all of these beautiful, wonderful things happening and Jules being the one to tell us about all of them. Because for her, this is kind of an ending. But she's getting to have all of these great memories and all of these beautiful things that have sort of grown out of this really sad thing that's happened.
So Jules tells us about the letter and how she is feeling about it. And, she initially says she's not mad at him anymore, but then she decides to shift and let us know how she ultimately what she wants is closure, which I think is a very common feeling at the end of pretty much any relationship. I mean, her feelings are absolutely valid.
Jules talks about Monty and she's not mad at him anymore. And she's decided that this is just life. This is how things end sometimes. And that she's got to move forward, whatever that may be. It's very mature. It's something that's nice to see out of the source material where there is a lot of immaturity between these two lead characters. It's really great to see Jules growing in such a beautiful way and understanding that the life she may have right now is maybe not the one she wanted, but it's what she has. So she's got to make the best of it.
So here's another moment where you kind of have to suspend the belief that they would not have actually crossed paths in the hallway because of how quickly it is from Jules exiting the frame to Monty entering. I'm going to go with that is some editing magic. But maybe there was a different way that Monty entered the building. We don't know.
This episode is missed moments personified when Jules leaves the room and in walks Monty. Romeo Montague himself, just having missed her by a few seconds. It's really beautiful and sad and amazing that this is the way that Ed and Imogen chose to go with this and that they were able to write something so beautiful and so remarkable and able to give us just love and tragedy and sorrow and joy all in 15 minutes that this episode is.
I think Monty's emotions are, again, just like Jules, they're very much justified in the way it all shakes out. Um, and, him expressing his frustration with Nancy because Nancy is the reason why they cannot have conversations anymore, because she removed him and blocked him from everything in Jules' life and Juliet admits it, that, Nancy's right. Monty's the reason why she was a little bit more dragging her feet in wanting to leave, even though she knew it was the right decision for her to make. She didn't want to lose anything that was connected to him because he was still special. And so, yes, Nancy did some deceiving and in turn made him not special. We get another callback to Monty's first video in the way that he tries to set it up, because he asks for Nancy to give him an opportunity to say something to Juliet.
Monty makes one last request of Nancy, that he be able to leave this message for Jules on the camera and that she show it to Jules. It's beautiful. He says everything that he needed to say. He gets all of it off his chest, tells her that he would never abandon her, but that he understands this is where her life is going now, but that he still loves her.
The ending is very on par, in the sense of ending with "There was never a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo." But then you take it a step further, and they have the screen that says this video has been deleted by the user. Which, is it just this one video? Is it all of the videos? What has been scrubbed of the internet? We don't know, because it's clearly not been scrubbed for us, because we are still getting to watch it and we're still celebrating it 10 years later, because it is truly a masterful piece of modernization of Shakespeare. And so this whole series there's so much heart, the ups, the downs, like it's all there and it's all so beautiful. Sometimes you just need to go through it, and it can, remind you that everything will be okay, that there's positive things to look to, and you can see how much these characters care about each other, and it's absolutely beautiful.
The end of this episode and the end of this series are one of my favorite things that I think I've ever seen done when it comes to Romeo and Juliet. Romeo leaves, Monty leaves. He leaves the book that he took out of a box. Jules finds it, is like, what is this doing here? I didn't do this. They have this incredible missed moment. And then the camera cuts and it's just Nancy telling us there was never a story of such woe as this of Juliet and her Romeo. And then she deletes the footage off of the internet. And if that ain't proof that Nancy is absolutely wild, I don't know what is. But she's doing what she thinks is best. That was episode 18 and the finale of Jules and Monty. 10 years later to the day. What a marvelous, beautiful adaptation of Shakespeare's tragedy. No notes. I have no notes. To end this, thank you so much to Tufts University, to TUTV, for putting this on. Thank you to everybody in the cast and crew. Absolutely remarkable job. Thank you to Imogen and Ed for writing this and just giving it to us and allowing us to see it. And thank you to all of you for tuning in.
If you have not checked out the series, but you've listened to us talk, you should check it out, even though we've already spoiled it for you, because that's how we roll over here. We hope that you will continue to join us over on all of the places wherever you like to get your podcast, and listen to what else we have in store. While we haven't posted a full episode in a while, scuttlebutt is we may be coming back this fall. So here is to more of League of Lit, and thank you for joining us. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment on leagueoflit.tumblr.com or on this video.
Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to this very special League of Lit for the Jules and Monty 10th year anniversary.
Please make sure you follow us at League of Lit Podcast on Instagram and at League of Lit Pod on TikTok.
If you have any suggestions for an episode, please feel free to leave a comment on leagueoflit.tumblr.com.